It was terrible. It was terrible.
So you were basically catfished by your best friend's husband.
Yes. And once I saw it was him, I don't know. There's no word
hold on,
this emotion.
Guys.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong.
Hi guys, my name is Kathy.
And I'm Koi. And I am every woman.
So today guys, we are going to talk about an interesting topic. Secondary dating.
Yeah. So tell us, what in your opinion, what is secondary dating?
Secondary dating, according to me, is dating after a time when you... Let me start with first dating is when you date as a young person, and then you either get married or get into a long-term relationship, and then that comes to an end through whatever way, and then you find yourself in the dating scene again. Okay. So secondary dating. So
basically it's dating after coming up, after, coming out of a long-term committed relationship, right?
That's how I would look at it.
Yeah. So have you experienced secondary dating?
Yes, I have.
Wanna share? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man. So let me start with I was married. So I dated, and then I got married. And then I was in a marriage for 5 years. 2 months shy of 5 years. 4 years, 10 months. And then my spouse died. So it was sudden. It was a car crash, and he was just alive 1 minute, and then the next minute he wasn't. He died on the spot. So all of a sudden, all of a sudden, I am single, going through the journey of loss and blah blah blah. And then after that, because we were 36, we were both 36 when he died. I am generally the kind of person who likes to live a full life. I really dislike negative emotions. So fear, loneliness, things like those. So yeah, I get to a point where I do need company, and hence the secondary dating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how was that, just going back into the dating scene after such
a long time?
Yeah, after such a long time.
I think the most shocking thing that shocked me beyond is just how much things had changed. Oh my God, things had so... Wow, this whole online dating, it wasn't there when we were dating. And all of a sudden people meet online, and even if you don't meet online, a big part of hanging out or talking or getting to know each other is online. So there's all this chatting and videos and forwards and stuff. That was a strange one. And of course there's people sending nude photos and asking you to send yours, and I'm thinking, is this normal? Is this what people are doing now? Do normal people do this? And that was a hard one.
So did you try to get on to like a dating site?
At first, no. I was just, you meet someone and then you exchange numbers, and then you're on WhatsApp. And then there's all this video calling each other. And stuff like that in the beginning. And then eventually now there's dating apps. And there's all these sick people you meet online, and and at that point there's also at the bottom line, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here. I'm not supposed to be here. What am I even doing here?
Because it still feels like there's someone else.
You see, the thing about widowhood is that you didn't divorce this. You didn't fall out. Your emotions were still intact. You were together. And you see, when you divorce someone or you separate, you start disengaging even before physically leaving this person. But with widowhood, you don't. You don't go through that bit. So there's this whole thing of you're mourning someone. Well, if I'm imagining, if I'm mourning someone that I've divorced, I'm mourning what we had. but I don't want him back. He's somewhere. I don't want him back. But in death, I want him back. And I don't think that he doesn't want me back. It's just that he can't be there.
Yeah.
So it's a strange bit for dating because you're still crying for this person.
Yeah.
You're lonely because you're a human being and you want some contact and you want to be with someone.
Yeah.
But you never left this person. So you tend to compare. That's the other thing. You tend to compare.
Okay.
Because obviously when I was with my spouse, I was with him because of something he did for me, because of certain feelings he elicited in me. And then I meet this other person who doesn't do the same. And that's not working. Like, it doesn't even remotely come close. And you're thinking to yourself, no, and then you spiral down to, oh, why am I a widow? Why did he die? So it was a very, very strange transition.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting that you say, you tend to compare by default because you miss what you had. Now, for me, my secondary dating came along after divorce. So I had been married for 7 years before I was officially divorced. But I think, by the 4th year of marriage, 4 years in, I knew that this is it. It's gonna end. It's just a matter of when. However, going back into the dating scene, you're almost looking for something that is totally different. So you do not want a repeat. So by default, you're always looking for something that is totally different. Let me tell you, for a very long time, I wouldn't even date anybody who has the same first name as my ex.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, because it would just his name would trigger.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
That's how much from a divorce you want totally nothing that reminds you. So it's interesting to hear that, from your perspective, you look for something that makes you feel, brings you back there. Yeah, with me and anyone who's gone through divorce, you want something totally different.
So there's a double edge there, I would say, because, for example, you want someone who elicits the same feelings.
Yeah.
But also you don't want someone who appears to like being a copycat to the spouse because you feel like they're trying to replace him. There's a lot of contradicting feelings, I tell you. So sometimes you have to do a lot of work on yourself. I had to do a lot of work on myself because, for example, let me just give a good example. So I would go out. I'm just the kind of person who loves music. I like to go out to a place where there's loud music, talk to people, which turns out to be a nice place to meet people. And I don't have a problem sitting alone by myself. I actually really enjoy my own company sometimes. So someone would come and smile at me. And it's not even it's like a nice smile. They're smiling at me. And my first reaction is anger and why is he smiling? Who does he think? Like, what does he think I'm coming to look for a guy, or what the hell is his problem?
You didn't
I'll
feel
get
flattered?
offended. No, I wouldn't feel flattered. I still struggle with that actually till today. And I would, look away and I would instantly regret because I stepped out of the house to come out to have a drink because I am lonely. And I will reject anybody who tries to smile at me. It's the strangest feeling. Very contradicting. So also I wouldn't there's also this whole thing of I am married. I don't want to replace my spouse. But I want someone. But I don't want him to look like that person. But I want him to behave like that person.
That's
really
complex.
Know it's so complicated. It's so complicated. Half the time you really just have to tell yourself, listen, you have to get it together.
Yeah.
Get it straight so that at least you can be with someone that you actually want to be with.
Yeah.
And that person comes, you don't push them away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And during your dating scene, how has the reception been coming from, you're a widow?
Oh yeah, so that's interesting. So I mean, you meet someone, especially online, like you haven't met physically, you don't know the other person's background. You're introducing yourself down to your name, you know. So you're single, yes, and I have children, and so they just assume that you separated or you're divorced, and then at some point when that conversation comes, you know, what happened between you guys, and then you say he died, and they go, ouch, I did not see that coming. And the interesting thing is that the air changes completely. Like imagine the background music being reggae, and then all of a sudden, and then there's more. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
This one really strange time, I met a guy on Tinder who was a widower. And then I was like, cool. You know, a widower might be good. He will understand me.
Yeah.
I have to talk about my late spouse.
Yeah.
And I will understand him. The minute I said I'm also a widow, he unmatched me.
What?
Only heaven knows why. I never got to ask him. I was unmatched.
He is a widower as well.
Yes.
Oh wow! And you'd expect that because of the fact that you've gone through similar.
Yes.
He would be more understanding.
That's what I would have thought. He wasn't.
Wow.
He was not.
Yeah.
So the reactions are very interesting.
Yeah.
I would say when I was living in Tanzania, I would explain it this way: the Tanzanians are very humane. I think that thing still stays, and they don't like taking advantage of vulnerable people. They really fear. So if I said to a Tanzanian I'm a widow and he backs out, then I would know he just doesn't want that hanging on his head that he did a bad thing to a widow, and that's how it is. In Nairobi, only God knows.
Nairobi is a special city.
No idea. I don't know. I wouldn't tell what the reaction will be, and when the reaction does come, I can't tell you where it's coming from and where it's headed. So there's just I choose to be amused by it. I just find it hilarious.
So is there a pattern? How do different, like the guys in Nairobi, when you tell them you lost your spouse, what is the initial reaction you get?
There's a small percentage that go, how did he die? Because I think there's an angle of maybe he was HIV positive.
Oh!
A friend of mine once pointed it out. So, oh my God, I tell you, there's a lot. So anyway,
really?
Yes. So now
didn't see that one coming.
He died in a car crash, so they're thinking, oh. So a lot of them still will go Pole Sana, you know. I know you don't want to talk about it. I'm like, no, talk about it. I'm okay, I'll talk about it. But yeah, a lot of them just become, I feel, confused at a loss that they now no longer know what to say. And some of them will just back out. They just back out.
They don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it surprises me. Because if you're going to date a single person and that person doesn't have a spouse, I mean, the spouse is dead. Isn't it better? There's no baby daddy drama.
Yeah,
there's no one to share.
You think, right?
Yeah.
Like they just fit right in.
Yeah. I think it's like that for women. Like if you find a single dad whose wife died, you feel like, there's no drama, the kids need to go see their mom stories.
But not really. I feel like I would also be a bit cautious if I was to date widower because of the fact that you said you don't know whether they've dealt with the emotions.
Oh yeah, that.
And sometimes you feel like it might be easy. Really, it's not the right way because you should take everybody as an individual. But I feel like by default you'd think maybe someone who's divorced is easier because they know for a fact that they don't want that relationship.
I see. I hear you. So here you're competing with someone who's dead.
Yeah.
But who is on a pedestal.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about
it. That's true.
So unless this person can assure you that they've really worked on closing and just closure in general, then you'll be going in there to deal with someone else's emotions.
I'll tell you something about that. When I started secondary dating, when I started asking myself, do I actually want to get married again? When I asked myself those hard questions, and I thought to myself, yes, because I had a good marriage, and I actually wouldn't mind being. You see, I know widows who also didn't have good marriages who say, they're never getting married again in the end. But for me, it's the opposite, and I don't think I would mind being married again.
Okay.
I love the coziness of marriage.
Yeah.
But I remember telling myself, I don't want someone who is really just like my late spouse. I want something different. Not because my late spouse wasn't good, on the contrary, but just because I don't want to feel like I'm replacing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want his memory and his presence in my mind to be authentic and real and to stay that way.
Yeah.
And someone else to come. For example, let me just give an example. My spouse was reserved. He's just a kind of person, and I'm not a reserved kind of person.
You're outgoing, yeah.
And I'm a bit rough on the edges and I'm a bit crazy. And for example, I would like to play with my hair and do crazy things, and he just didn't like that. He'd be like, just do normal things. He was like that, and I'd learned to live with it. But I feel like now I'd like to try someone who's different.
Yeah.
Who would go, knock yourself out, add a little bit more color or whatever, just so that I feel like I'm not playing with my late spouse's memory. I'm not mixing it up.
Yeah.
There's fundamental things that brought us together that I would still imagine as another spouse I choose must have those. But there are now some things which I think I would prefer are different. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right. So for me, so obviously after divorce, people think that, okay, girl, now you're ready to party. Let's go out. Let's fix you up on a blind date or something.
Yeah.
And the truth is, usually your head tells you to do that, but in here, you don't want to do that. You just want to stay at home because there's so many other things that you need to think about. You need to worry about. Okay, now you're alone. You need to figure like you're alone. This is it. You don't have a backup person to support you. So this is it. So it's all on you. And in my case, for example, like I have a child. And then at the point, I was living with my younger brother. And then I have a living nanny. So there are 3 human beings who are in my house who are looking up to me, and I can't, excuse my French, I can't mess it up.
You can't drop the ball.
I can't drop the ball. So you have to deal with all that anxiety. But deep down somewhere, you're also thinking, you want that connection with someone who's special to you. So I tried going out for coffee dates, and a lot of times I would meet amazing people, but then I would realize I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You feel like, okay, do I really want to go for a second and a third date? Because you're not really there. I'm okay having that coffee, but past that, you're thinking, no. But I think being divorced is easier. Dating is easier. Society is a bit more. They receive it a bit easier. But they really want to know, what did the guy do wrong? I don't know why it's always what.
There's that.
No, most of the time they want to know what did the guy do wrong.
Oh, okay.
And by default, it's usually
so that they know that. Oh, I see.
So by default, it's usually what did the guy do wrong. And then now after that, the second layer is, are you one of the crazy ones? What is
throw knives? And
so they want to gauge and see, was it
his fault?
Yes. Or exactly.
Yeah.
So there's just that moment of gauging, and I mean it's understandable. So I'll just decide whether to share everything depending on how much I would feel like the person I'm going on a date with is mature enough to handle a mature conversation. But for some reason, I would gravitate towards someone who's also experienced divorce.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's actually a good thing, to be honest, because I'm dealing with my baggage. This other person is dealing with their baggage as well. I'm not so sure it's the best mix, but who knows what's even good for anybody? Who knows? Nobody knows.
That's for sure.
Yeah, nobody knows. But and at some point, what I decided is, you know what? I'll go on dates with no expectation. No expectation at all. So I'd go, have coffee, laugh, and then go back home. Remember, I have a child to take care of at home. If it's dinner, I'd go. So because of just being free and liberating myself, honestly speaking, I enjoyed lots of free meals.
Wow.
You know, in very fancy restaurants, and I met a lot of new people who had amazing perspectives, different perspectives on the world, honestly speaking. So I decided I'm not taking it seriously for a while there. And that allowed me to meet so many different people, you know, and not with the intention of, you know, I want anything serious with this person, just seeing the world through very many people. And that also showed me that I was very naive, you know, when I was married, because, you know, when you're married, the focus is really just your family. And because I was also married young, I hadn't seen the world like that. I hadn't seen the world from a political perspective, different careers, you know, just even experiencing, just relating with the opposite sex as an adult. As an adult period where you can talk about different issues. So that dating allowed me to do that. However, I'll also say I met a few crazies.
Oh my God.
Ooh, I met a few crazies. Yeah. So there was the occasional crazies here and there. And in my experience, you know, people would say, especially now that you have Tinder, Tinder back then was decent. I don't know, or maybe I didn't know better. I don't know. But to be very honest, the few connections I made on Tinder, actually maybe just one. Yeah, actually, if I'm thinking about history, it's probably just one. Was a good connection. The crazies are the ones that I meet out here, because when you tell people, oh, I'm trying to date online, they'd say, oh, online dating. But to be very honest, the crazies are the people I met in the club or something. Those are the crazies.
True.
So but that was my experience. I know people experience different things, but that was my experience. But it was quite interesting.
So when I'm asked on Tinder, because I am on Tinder, I'm not embarrassed to say that. When they ask me what are you looking for, it's a very common question, and I say whatever I can get, and they say please explain. So the way that I look at it, I ultimately would like to meet someone I can marry, whether I'm Tinder or not. I don't care. But in the meantime, I won't force issues.
Yeah.
If I meet you and I realize you're just a funny person who makes me laugh, I'm gonna laugh, and then the end.
Yeah.
There was another dating site we used to have in Tanzania. I mean, it's still there. Also, it's called Tag, I think. I met a guy there. Tag there.
Never heard of that.
I met a guy there. We chatted so much, like we were really getting along on chat. We chatted too much, talked about too many things. It never got romantic. At the point it would have, we're like, okay, you've told me too many things. I've told you too many things. Forget about it. Like, let's just continue as we are. Let's not ruin it. Until today, he's really just like my little brother. Till today, he's the one person I can really rely on.
Yeah.
For crazy things like drive me all the way to Dar or whatever. He will stop what he's doing and take me.
Yeah.
So I'll take what I get. That's how I look at it. I don't limit myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find someone and you actually realize you can buy something from them.
Yeah.
Or they are video editors and you need a video editor. And that works.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't always have to end up romantic. That's what I've realized.
Yeah, you have to be open-minded.
Exactly. And sometimes it does end up romantic, but you can just tell this is short-lived.
Yeah.
Just have some fun. And then walk away. Because there's nothing, it can't get serious there. And others, you realize this person is great on chat, but I never intend to meet them in person. Like, I don't care for it. But let's chat, you know? And then occasionally you do meet a serious person who you even get to meet, and then something comes out of it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. I think you have to be very open-minded, especially if you're coming from a perspective where you've been in a long, good relationship, a marriage or whatever it is. You have to be very, very open-minded, as you say. So let me ask you, we have a similar situation where we are both dating as parents. Not just from a point of secondary dating, but dating as a parent. How has that experience been for you?
Wow. Let me see. It always appears to be better to date another parent because then they understand why sometimes you can't make it on a date because the child suddenly developed a fever, suddenly developed diarrhea, and you can't go. Dressed up and all, but you can't go anywhere. It feels like it's better that way, but also there's always this angle of men who have children Do they take care of their children? Do they, because obviously it reflects on the kind of person they are.
Yeah.
But also what's their relationship with baby mama. For me with children, I don't feel like it affects me much. I definitely don't let my children meet or even know about a person unless that person becomes, serious. I made that mistake once a few years ago. I met a guy who was much older than me. I thought he was serious. I thought older people don't play games. It wasn't really games he was playing, but it didn't work out well at all. He wasn't serious. And my children had met him. And I hated myself for it. Because they had even started nursing ideas of, maybe this person is going to be our dad now. I hated myself for it. I really did.
Yeah.
I said never, ever again. Ever.
Yeah.
So even if that person has to come to my house for whatever reason, it's the fundi. He's a fundi.
He's the handyman.
Yeah. So they go, Mommy, who's this? I go, he's a fundi. He has come to fix for us something.
You know they're watching right now.
Stick to it.
They're watching. They're
Who?
watching.
The children.
The handyman.
Who?
The handyman.
Well, that's true. It's not a lie. I tell them, you meet my children, you say you're a fundi. No, it can get very confusing with children. You can't just keep bringing this, that, and that. No. That's not fair for them.
Yeah. So for me, I would say I would keep off anything to do with my house. I would be the one coming to whatever. So if we're having date or like, I'll just keep my house, because for me it's not even just the child. It's my house is such a sacred place. So I would keep off. And if I give you my house address, I must really trust you. I must really trust you. So that's how I maintained it. Although I didn't even, I gave a few who ended up being my friends. Like we would, who were a bit closer. But I would still allow them to come either if I'm having like a party.
Yeah.
So that let's not get comfortable, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and either a party or something like that. And I wouldn't introduce any of them to my child completely.
You see, sometimes in dating,
until I'm sure that this is going. Like you will have to meet my family first before you even meet my child.
Yeah. Okay. You see, sometimes in dating, you'd have this scenario of maybe something needed to be picked up. You're chatting, and then he goes,
"Oh no, we'll
well, those were the situations. Or,
yeah.
For example, a case where I was sick, and he's like, "I'm coming to see you."
No.
Oh man, so it happened to me like that.
You can come if my baby is
asleep.
No,
not there.
It's not home.
Yeah.
If she is, because in my case she goes to the dad sometimes, unless and at that point we must be in a relationship, not just casually dating. Yeah.
Well.
So that's for me. That has been quite interesting, just being able to do that. But it worked for me, because if I see that you don't understand that I'm a parent and you can't take that I'm only available on this day and this day, and you can't handle it, that was an easy cut for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's an easy cut for me. And I don't shy away from saying I'm a mom on day one, so that you already know what you're dealing with. Yeah.
That's true.
But even as we date, I would gauge someone, the way you were saying, I'd gauge someone and see if I feel like, okay, potentially I'd be interested in them. I'd want to see them engage, or what they think about just parenting. Like, just in conversation, I'd pick up what they think about parenting, how they relate, even if they don't have children of their own, how they relate with, let's say, their nieces and nephews. I'd want to see that. You can, it's very easy to pick it up. Yeah. Someone who is constantly talking about their nephews or nieces, or maybe they spend time together. You can tell someone who's genuinely interested in kids, because that's a big one. That's a big one.
Definitely.
And if they have a child, yes, how do they relate to the baby mama or baby mamas? And
how important are their children to them in their lives?
Exactly.
Because you get a lot of guys who have all these things and all these projects and all these trips, and it doesn't feel like their child is taking a good position in their life.
Exactly.
And that can be a bit
That's
tough.
that's definitely
like you truly actually want the guy who says, I can't make it. I have to take my daughter to school.
Yes.
Or I have to go for a sports day.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Yes.
Because then that is an indication.
You know where their values are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the craziest experience you've had dating?
Oh my God, wow.
Experience in secondary dating. What's the craziest experience?
Let me see. This one was actually a bit recent. So I meet this guy, we match, and he starts chatting immediately. And we chat till late in the night.
Yeah, we met online.
We met on Tinder.
Okay.
And let's meet tomorrow. I don't know where, some place. Okay, let's meet tomorrow. So I'm even chatting with another niece of mine, and I'm telling her the way I'm meeting this guy. Oh my God, blah blah blah. And then tomorrow, guy just goes missing. Just missing in action. There's no. He wouldn't say anything. He's left to the face of the earth. And well, I don't know. That seems to me because the intensity of his chat the night before were, not intimacy, but very intense. Like, I really want to meet someone, I really like you, blah, blah, blah. One day, 24 hours, not even over, and the guy has gone mute. Completely mute.
Not responding to messages, nothing.
Well, I generally won't message you. If you don't message, the end.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not very crazy, is
That's
it?
not very crazy.
Oh, it's not crazy.
It's called ghosting, I understand.
Yeah,
That happens
absolutely.
a lot, I think. Why though? I don't know. It's just, maybe it was a catfish.
I saw what you did there. So I've been catfished, people.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, this one is a bad one. I feel like this is a show by itself.
Really? You've been catfished?
I have been catfished. About this.
Yeah.
And so we chatted until it gets to a point where we meet. Can you imagine my shock when I meet the guy? It's actually my friend's spouse.
Huh? What?
The spouse himself.
What? Hold on. The same friend that you are telling
So
me
I've been talking to him about himself.
and his wife.
Oh God. And I had said a lot of scandalous things. Because what he did.
No. A moment. we need to absorb.
I know.
What?
It was terrible.
So you were basically catfished by your best friend husband.
Yes. And once I saw it was him, I don't know. There's no word.
Hold on, guys.
You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art.